Coming at you live on this sunny side summer Thursday. This is the CHGO Bears Podcast Training Camp Edition. Visit sunnyside.shop and use code HICHGO for 50% off your first three. That's your first three online purchases. Exclusions apply. Sunnyside Cannabis Dispensary, only for 21 plus or Illinois medical card holders. What's going on, Bears fans? A busy Thursday, even beyond the Bears. I mean, we got White Sox finally firing their manager. I'm seeing stuff on Twitter right now that I don't know is real or not about Noah Lyles. There's a lot of things going on today, but the only thing that matters is that Caleb Williams is playing against the Bills on Saturday, of course, and that's what we are here to break down as we are back from Hallis Hall. Adam Hoge, Mark Carman, Nicholas Moreano with you. What's going on, boys?
Well, I was going to start the show today with my favorite moment of the Pedro Cafal era, but I will leave that for the White Sox guys who are doing a great job covering it.
How do you have any favorite moment? I didn't know that one existed.
Really? I don't actually, okay. And that was maybe today was it. That was a weird hire at the start.
It was my favorite moment was today.
It was a weird moment at the start, and it got weirder and worse and bad, and now they're moving on. So good job, Chris Getz. Look, up and down roller coaster ride continues. Nicholas Moreano, I think, with an extremely strong performance. We all left at the same time. Nick has a farther way to travel, and he made it here to the show on time. We were tight getting in today. Nick probably ran about 3 red lights to do this. So shout out to Nicholas Moreano, who Hoge and I left back at Hallis Hall. Didn't walk with him. He took a picture calling us out, and I felt a little bit bad about it, to be honest.
I mean, you guys didn't really leave me. I should have made a better caption. Someone did call you a beekeeper, though, Mark. How do you feel about the beekeeper hat?
So, Fox 32 took a picture, and, they're focusing in on Kerry Joseph, but there's a million pictures they chose, and they put me on blast. Fox 32 came after me.
Yeah, that's a terrible job by us. We should have had that ready to go. If we could get that to Steven at some point so we can show that on this episode. We absolutely need to do that. And by the way, I could have used a beekeeper because as Nick and I got back to our cars, we were parked next to each other. For some reason, there was like 6 different bees on top of my car. And I needed you, Carm. I needed you more than I need you on the show right now.
You need to talk to the bees. You need to tell them that they're not needed right now. They're just trying to help you, Hoge. Be careful. Be generous to your insects. But on that note, why don't we get into our best and worst? A ton going on as you teed up here, Adam Hoge. Why don't you lead us off with the best and worst, please?
Yes, and with the best and worst, we actually have some feedback on this segment that I'm going to share later on in the show. That is going to be very, very interesting and had me thinking a little bit. So we might have a little bonus segment I throw at you guys later on. But yes, best and worst as we kick this off. I do want to remind everyone that training camp coverage on the CHGO Bears podcast is presented by Ray Chevrolet. Shop the Freedom to Save sales event all month long by visiting Ray Chevrolet in Fox Lake or raychevrolet.com. Serving the community since 1963. Together, let's drive. Best. Going to be hard to point at anything on offense today. Another one of those days. However, there is a certain guy, a large guy, who keeps getting in the backfield relatively consistently and continues to impress. I love seeing this because we talked a lot about him early on, even before the pads went on. It felt like we were talking about him too much before pads actually went on. But to me, this has been a consistent thing as we now are in our 3rd week of camp. I believe today was like officially day 20 of camp and it was practice 15. So we are deep into this thing. And to see number 99, Gervon Dexter Sr., continue to get back there in the backfield and disrupt things and knock down passes, I think this is a really, really good sign for this defense as Matt Eberflus tries to find his 3 technique. So I again, today, Gervon Dexter was my best. My worst, I figured I was going to kind of let you guys talk about the offense. I figure it's going to come up, so I'll stay in my lane with the special teams. This is the 2nd or 3rd time we've seen Cairo Santos miss at least 2 field goals in a row. There was another time like a week ago or something where he missed 3 in a row. Today he missed back-to-back field goals. Now he did come back and drain one right down the middle a little bit later on, and these aren't chip shots we're talking about here. So I am not worried about Cairo Santos. I want to make that very, very clear. But for a guy who has raised the bar way up here to the point that we're not even used to see him like ever missing in practice, it's just a little different. It's a little slightly uneasy that it's been a thing that's happened now a few times. I'm sure he'll figure it out. To his credit, he's had a couple times in his Bears tenure where he's gone through a game or two, like a tiny slump, and he's corrected it and been automatic after that. So again, that's a sign to me. It's not really something to worry about, but I do think we're at the point where on August 8th, it's at least worth bringing up in one of these episodes.
Yeah, because we just don't see it, right? We don't usually see Cairo Santos not put the ball through the upright. So I think it is noteworthy, and, you know, it makes sense to have it as your worst for today's show. Mark, did you want to go?
No, I'd love you jumping right in here, Nick. I was just going to add on to I actually am worried about Cairo. He's 32 years old, and he's not a big dude, and it's not like his kicks have ever really boomed through. So there's been he's been amazing, phenomenally accurate, but I think there's a sort of a lesser margin for error with Cairo because of his size and the way he kicks. So it is. I've been thinking it. I haven't been saying it because I didn't want to step into Hoge's special teams room and also freak out about the kicker on August 8th. But that thought has been going through my mind a bunch here. Like, are we sure that this is solid? Because, he's been great, but it's looked a little off so far during I would say the entire training camp.
Yeah, and one real quick nugget before Nick, you go. It is worth pointing out that Patrick Scales has been out this week, and when you do have a different long snapper, the timing and everything is different. However, I will say I haven't necessarily been noticing it being a problem with the new guy, which I don't know for Cameron. Oh, it's Cameron Lyons. Thank you. Cameron Lyons. Should have had that ready. He's a rookie. He's out of Charlotte. I even know where he goes to school. Cameron Lyons. I haven't really necessarily noticed a huge issue with snaps. And I will point out that other time I mentioned where he missed 3 in a row, Scales was out there for that too. So I don't think this is necessarily a long snapper issue. But yeah, go ahead, Nick.
Yeah, so for my best, and I wanted to give this to you a chance to you go first, Mark, but I'm going to go with Tyson Bagent. There was a 2-play sequence there, Mark, where Tyson floated a pass over a defender in the flat, and this ball needed to be perfectly placed or he's going to get picked off. But Tyler Scott was able to run this out route, and this ball was just beautifully placed. I'm like, damn, Bagent, that's a nice throw. And I think he did the arrow right after it. But then on the very next play, too, he draws Khalid Kareem off sides and is able to take advantage of that play by hitting Nasemba Webster on a deep vertical route down the right sideline. And like, that's a really good 2-play sequence from your guy, Tyson Bagent. So I was really impressed with that. I think that was honestly the 2 best plays the offense had all day. But go ahead real quick, Carmen.
No, those were great. I'll throw another back-to-back sequence that he had today. He drew guys off sides again, and he fired call it a 25-yard roughly out up high for Freddie Swain, who Bagent has targeted a ton. They seem to be on the same wavelength. That was a great play. And then on the next play, he hit Swain again. So Bagent had a decent day today for sure.
Yeah, a lot of love for Bagent. My worst, though, you guys, like obviously Caleb, he threw an interception to supposedly Kevin Byard. We'll get into that. But there was actually a play before that. It was a miss to Keenan Allen on a seam route in the middle of the field. Like this was a play that, you know, Keenan did a good job of getting open. He made himself available to Caleb Williams, and the ball just kind of sailed for whatever reason. We've seen some of those passes come off of Caleb's hand like that, where they'll just sail a little bit high, but that's a ball where, you know, I know he can make that pass. We've all seen him make that pass, but for whatever reason, it just didn't time up well on that specific rep, and he missed it. And you know, I put it out like it was a bad miss for Caleb. So that's going to be my worst from today, especially because Keenan did a great job getting open. We've seen Caleb hit that pass, but it just didn't happen in that rep.
Multiple bests for me, starting at the top, which is the way we started the show, that Caleb will play on Saturday. Thank you. Whatever 1%, 2% of doubt that with the offensive line situation that he wasn't going to play was, you know, minorly keeping me up at night for an extra 7 minutes. I'm glad that that's done. Get him out there. Let's go. And I'm actually going to make Caleb my best today, even though he had a off day, I think, overall. I am completely on board and I talked about this a long time ago. Let him throw a ton of touchdown passes. Let him throw a ton of interceptions. I know that the playoffs, the last time we were in it, seems like it was the Stone Ages, and it'd be sweet if they make it this year. But the biggest thing that you want out of this season is Caleb to grow and get better and get closer to his peak. And he's got to be able to make mistakes. And one of the interceptions today, he moved around in the pocket, ran up to the line of scrimmage, could have run, easily picked up 10 yards, would have done nothing for his growth whatsoever. Instead, he went parallel the line of scrimmage, flushing to his right, and then he fires it, and then it's intercepted. It doesn't look great, but I was like, that's exactly what you should be doing. I don't care if you pick up 6 yards on the ground in training camp. That's ridiculous. And then he got picked off late by Kevin Byard. The entire media room, including Nicholas Moreano, thought it was Jalen Jones. I, of course, was right. Everybody else was wrong. Thank you very much. But I love this. That was a tough throw. Big out deep down the right sidelines, and Byard made a good play on it. Let him learn what he can and he can't do. So the fact that he's pushing the envelope, I'm still going to make that a best for today. Sort of counterintuitively. And then the worst, I just mentioned it. The media tried to bully me into giving up that it was Kevin Byard. Every single person in that room, Josh Rock, Dan Wiederer, Pat Finley, Nicholas Moreano, they were all over me. They would go, come on, Carm, come on. And I said, it was Byard. It was Byard. It was Byard. Dudes that I don't know their names was telling me that it was Jones and looking at me cross-eyed. And I stayed with my calmness, and ultimately when we got to talk to the defensive assistants, they all confirmed it. Byard with the pick. I was right. They were wrong. Media, you get a loaf.
They lied.
And no mention that I had your back the entire time.
I didn't notice you having my back the entire time. Did you?
I was saying it was Byard. I said the whole time it was 31.
Okay, thank you, Hoge. I apologize. I didn't know. That's
now he acknowledges you.
Yeah.
So
well,
I don't even know.
I was under such siege that I didn't even see who was supporting me.
drink out of your orange mug.
Well, I'm glad you brought this up, because this turned out to be one of the more fun moments of training camp, I thought, because it started right away in the stands where the media sits. I mean, we had it. I don't think you were on an island by yourself, because this was a raging debate. Jason Leisure also had it as Kevin Byard right away, and
Ruthie Polinsky did too. Polinsky was with me.
This was way more 50-50 than you're making it out to be. This was more of like, what color is the dress type of argument. Is it blue or pink or whatever the colors were?
Yellow.
Blue or yellow. It was way more like that. And it was very bizarre, because I don't remember this ever happening where like we couldn't agree and really didn't seem to have a consensus on who it was, to the point we actually had to ask the coaches. And I think Larry Mayer even hacked his way into the Bears video room to watch the play, which next level reporting by Larry Mayer. I respect it. And he did confirm with his Larry Mayer eyes that it was Kevin Byard. So I'm glad we all got caught up in that. I was part of the reason, Carm, why you probably didn't hear me talking about it too much, is I was way more concerned about the throw rather than who caught it. I did not like that throw. I did not like the throw that you brought up earlier, Nick, that was intended for Keenan Allen that Elijah Hicks picked off. It's just, honestly, the word is stupid. It was not a good throw. It was one that you just don't make that decision kind of running out of bounds across your body. I get that he's really good. I gotta say though, he's better when he's going to his left and throwing like that awkward how he contorts his body thing. The accuracy on that one is way better than when he's going to his right and he's trying to get it back in bounds, as his momentum's taking him out. And I don't know. Those weren't good decisions, but not the end of the world. I think I do agree, Carm, with your overall premise that it is good to see him
test
this stuff now against a really, really good NFL secondary, because you can make an argument that what he's facing in practice right now from a secondary standpoint will be as good as he'll see all season.
Well, and to that
he's got a bunch of backups, though. I mean, a lot of backups are playing right now.
That's excellent point there, too.
That's true, but that's another good, in that these guys, these backups are flying around the way they are making plays.
Right, but look, the Bears, and Tevin Jenkins said this today, and it's been said by a lot of guys that, the Bears defense is really, really good. this ain't the 85 Bears out there. Like, let's not go completely crazy on how good this defense is. I'm not saying they're not good, but like, we can't just put the offensive strengths. Well, the Bears defense.
But Carm, well, let's keep continuing. Let's continue this discussion here in a second, because it doesn't need to be the 85 Bears to help the quarterback get better. A lot has changed over the years since 1985, especially. One thing that has not, though, the great taste of Miller Lite, because it's less filling. And a lot of people debate this, kind of like we were debating who caught that interception today. What is the best thing about the original light beer? Miller Lite sparked this debate back in 1975, and we still haven't settled it yet. Is it that it's less filling, or that it's got great taste? And here's the cool thing about Miller Lite. You don't necessarily have to pick between the two, because Miller Lite strips away everything you don't need and holds on to what matters most. It's a light beer that tastes like beer. It's less filling and only 96 calories. The original light beer since 1975. So you don't have to choose what's best. Miller Lite has great taste and is less filling. Tastes like Miller time. To get Miller Lite delivered right to your door, visit MillerLite.com/CHGO football, or you can find it pretty much anywhere that sells beer. Celebrate responsibly. Miller Brewing Company, Milwaukee, Wisconsin. 96 calories per 12 ounces, fewer calories and carbs than premium regular beer.
You got to check out Miller Lite, you guys. And you also got to check out Shady Rays. Get ready for the season ahead with quality shades built to last like these. Our friends at Shady Rays have you covered with premium polarized shades that won't break the bank. Shady Rays is an independent sunglass company offering a world-class product rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people. Their shades have durable frames and crystal clear optics, making them the perfect choice for all your outdoor adventures. They have hundreds of options to choose from, so you're bound to find the perfect pair that matches your style. They probably have a style in your favorite team's colors. I picked up these awesome shades recently. They're awesome at training camp, or a lot of people say they look like snowboarding glasses. Sure, whatever you want to use them for, Shady Rays has you covered. And plus, if your shades ever go missing or take an unexpected hit, don't sweat it. They have the most insane protection in all of eyewear. Every pair is backed by lost or broken replacements. If you don't love your shades, exchange it for a new pair or return worry-free within 30 days. Just for you, Mark. There's no risk when you shop. Their team always has your back with personal and fast support. Exclusively for our listeners, Shady Rays is giving out their best deal of the season. Head to ShadyRays.com and use the code CHGO for 35% off polarized sunglasses. Try for yourself. The shades are rated 5 stars by over 300,000 people.
That made me think about checking to see if my Shady Rays got delivered. I believe they have been delivered. I have texted upper management to see if they can be brought directly to my studio here in my house to see if we can, because I was telling you guys about the mystery pair, and I need to know what the mystery pair is, and maybe we can unveil it here live.
An unboxing. Yeah, I love it.
Right here on the show, but we'll see if upper management gets that text or not. All right. So quickly, because I want to talk about now Caleb's playing Saturday's starters, what we can expect, but quickly on the tail end of what we were just talking about and what he's facing in practice. They don't have to be the 85 Bears. If they end up being a top 5 defense, when you consider the Bears' strength of schedule and who they're playing this year, that means that what he faces in practice will most likely be better than what he's facing in a game each and every week. And that is one of the reasons why I think the Bears are remaining so optimistic about what they're seeing from him. We heard it from Mercedes Lewis today, who I want to talk about that conversation a little bit too, because that is a 19-year veteran who's 40 years old, whose opinion matters. He doesn't talk a lot, and when he does, you want to listen. So that's important. But now to transition, we get to see him against a different defense, a Bills defense, that pretty decent defense. And Saturday, the Bills are going to play their starters too. It sounds like we're going to see starters for the first quarter with both teams, and we get to see what it looks like in a game. Now, it'll be vanilla defensively, and quite frankly, I would say it's way more likely Caleb looks really good than it is that he puts out a clunker out there. Probably because what he's seen in practice, whether you're talking about talent, good talent, bad talent, whatever it is, what he's seeing in practice is way more complex than what the Bills will show in the game on Saturday.
Okay. I think that the Bears are doing a great job playing super competitive football against the offense right now. And I think this is good for Caleb. Okay, let me say that. Now, to the top 5 thing. Name the players that were missing on defense today, Nick. Montez Sweat, Kyler Gordon,
Jaquan Brisker, Tyreek Stevenson.
Jaquan Brisker, right. All right, that's not a top 5 defense. I'm sorry. No chance that with those guys out of there, no Montez Sweat and half your secondary, it is not. That is a bottom half defense. So the reality is that the quarterback the Bears drafted is the most talented quarterback they've ever had in the history of the franchise. I don't think there's any debate that can be made of them. When he looks good and his top level throws, they are as good as you can ask for. And he's a rookie who's coming into the NFL against insane players. It's going to take a second. So I don't expect them to come out of the maybe he'll just keep growing and growing and growing at such a rapid pace that by week 1 he'll be ready. I hope he does. I don't care though. I'm more interested. What does it look like by the back end of the season? Period. End of story. Where are we at? Then we'll know. We're gonna all have to kind of take a deep breath and let the roller coaster ride happen, myself included.
You know what, real quickly, Mark, going back to even though the defense is missing key starters that are going to play a pivotal role in this defense and trying to be anywhere near top 5, Tevin Jenkins gave some good perspective today on because they're facing this Bears defense consistently in practice, those guys are keying in on their slides, their reads and everything. So even though they're without some really good players on defense, they kind of know what's happening, what they're almost working on. So when you're going up against a different defense, they're not going to have that same level of intellect that the Bears defenders already have. So I think they are callousing and getting Caleb ready. I mean, you're seeing these nickel blitzes come off the edges where Caleb's like, oh, okay, I need to roll out and then throw a pass quickly because that is coming at a quick rate and I need to find the hot read on this play. So I think what we're seeing from this Bears defense in some ways might be even more complicated than what you're going to see from the Bills on Saturday, especially given that this Bears defense knows the Bears offense so well up to this point. They've been practicing against them since OTA. So I think we're going to see, to what Adam was saying, I would expect Caleb to look better than he would look worse on Saturday, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and a couple other things, too, on this, because I think it also speaks to some of the depth that the Bears might have on defense, which is part of having a really good defense in the NFL. Because I want to point out that on the play that Nick mentioned earlier where Elijah Hicks got the interception, Elijah Hicks is kind of a key piece here as a backup who might have to play, and he did make a nice read on that and cut the route and had to stop. Now, at the same time, did you notice who had the pressure on that play? Did you know who probably sacked him if it was actually a live play?
I did not.
Gervon Dexter, who is perhaps the key to this whole thing being an elite level defense this season. I'm not even sure that the rest of that play would have happened if it was a real game because I think Dexter had him and he was actually looking around like why the whistle wasn't blown. Also, Kevin Byard, it was Kevin Byard who had the interception. He's a starter. He's a key piece to this defense as well. So I'm not ready to just be like, these guys are out. They're not top 5, whatever. First of all, they're not top 5 to begin with until they prove it. We all know that. I still think he's facing a tough test in practice every day, and that is the point. Let's talk more about this game on Saturday and what you want to see. First of all, Josh Allen versus Caleb Williams. Mitch Trubisky versus Tyson Bagent. In terms of storylines here, at least for a half, okay, we got a somewhat interesting preseason game here between the Chicago Bears and Buffalo Bills on Saturday. I like seeing that. In terms of how much Caleb plays, I hope it's more than one series. Flus didn't commit to anything. He said it's basically a package of plays or a number of plays that they have. And, if they get through, maybe it's a first 15 type situation. We have your first 15 plays. you get through that on the first opening drive, even if it's only like 10 or 12, but it ends in a touchdown, you feel good about it, then I could see that being it for Caleb and the starters. That would make sense. But if they go 3 and out, or they only, get 5 or 6 plays in the first drive, I would hope to see him get more. Let's say at least double digits. Can we set that as the minimum here for snaps in Buffalo, Carm?
So this is a Flus quibble that I had from last week, and I hope he doesn't follow it this week. Bagent was told he was getting a quarter last week. Well, it ended up that the Texans were on the field the entire first quarter. He had, and the Bears had a false start on 3rd down and 3rd and 1, and they punted it away. And then he doesn't get another series. Don't do that with Caleb this week. It shouldn't be just you get a quarter. It should be more what Hoge just said, a certain number of plays. You can't just go by. So you got to have some flexibility here. How much has he play? And so and Flus said today, he's like, well, look, in the first series, if it's a 65 play, whatever drive, he's kidding, then maybe it'll just be one series. Yeah, that'd be fine. But it shouldn't be like the quarter. That's irrelevant. He's going to play 15 to 20 plays or something along those lines.
Well, again, going back to how they've kind of looked at how the preseason can go in terms of snaps, they reference those former first-round picks. They said 45 to 55. So if you're trying to, again, split up 45 to 55 in 2 games, which we're expecting this game and the Cincinnati game, if he plays 15 in this one, if you're trying to reach that, 55, you see where the math's here. So, I mean, yeah, I think that's how it should be. It should go by plays and not like a series or a quarter, anything like that, because that's the benchmark that they've kind of referenced before. The 45 to 55 snaps. Hopefully it's more on the 55. I think that would be beneficial for the offense, given there's been so much variety in terms of the offensive line who's been in and out. I think this will be good experience for Caleb Williams. So something to consider as we're watching this game and then predicting what can happen in the game against the Cincinnati Bengals.
Nick, you just made a great point there. That adds on to it. Look, the offense ain't there yet. If they were zinging around in practice, okay, well, maybe he doesn't need a ton of reps. That's not what's happening. They need reps. So it should be on the higher end. And correct me if I'm wrong here, but I think the bet, if you had to bet on it right now, I'm going to bet that the starters play in the rest of the 3 preseason games.
Ooh, I don't know about the last one. Kansas City?
Yeah, I think if you look at Flus's track record, I think that might be the one they play the most in.
Really?
Yeah. Go back and look what Fields has done the last preseason game. It's not how it used to be when there was 4 preseason games. Now technically the Bears do have 4 this year, but I think that goes back to what I was kind of ranting about last week, which is I hate the gap that it's left between from the last preseason game to the first regular season game. You have like 2.5 weeks off where you're not playing live football. And so if you don't take advantage of those reps, I think it's a missed opportunity.
Yeah, I mean, that Saturday, August 17th, the Bengals, then they play that Thursday quick turnaround. I wonder, again, will that play a factor into how Eberflus is kind of scheduling these reps between these next 3 preseason games? That'll be fascinating to kind of see how he plays it out.
Yeah. All right. I also want to mention, there's some other things that we got to talk about with some of these starters who are playing now, some of the backups that we're learning about. But quickly, Mercedes Lewis talking to him today. I mean, he's saying, Caleb Williams, that's my guy. Like, this is my type of guy, the way he handles himself, the way he can relate with the veterans. I mean, it sounds like this is a 40-year-old man and a 23-year-old kid, and they're hitting it off. They're talking investments. He said they're talking about things that have nothing to do with football. And then he's like, but he can go back down to the younger guys too and relate with them. So that all seemed very genuine from Mercedes Lewis today, and I think it's a very good sign. It's been constant from these guys, but I liked hearing it from the big dog in the locker room.
Sounds like me and Carm talking about wedding venues. If you're trying to relate to things, so weddings.
Yeah, I gave Nick the talk the other day. Don't spend a lot on your wedding. Save your money. Buy a house. Buy a car. Buy a cheeseburger. Whatever is going on.
Sounds like a good episode of Couples Coverage. I think this should all be hashed out right there.
I mean, we did just publish an episode today, so maybe for next week.
There you go. What 5 seconds from me on Mercedes Lewis? I freaking love that guy. That is just a solid vet. And by the way, they had the defensive assistants available today in the what they call the midway and sort of this just whatever area. A bunch of guys are at tables. So I was asking one of the Bears media members just to confirm who was who. No surprise to you, Hoge. And they're like, and I'm like, who's that guy? And as Dan Weeder was talking, he was like, that's Mercedes Lewis. I'm like, oh, right. Because he looks like an assistant coach.
Yeah.
He's so damn ass old. I was like, right.
He's probably older than some of the coaches. I mean,
yeah.
Mm-hmm. For sure.
Yeah, for real. All right. Well, in the meantime, let's thank our friends at Circa real quick. We tell you about Circa all the time. It's where you got to check out their tight money line splits, their low haul models. Circa's going to be along the way here with the 85 with Cole Kmet too, by the way, which we'll talk about in a second. But look, they have games that strive to be more like a -110 split on the Circa Sports menu, unlike other sports books, which may use -115, -20. What does that all mean? It means that Circa's taking less of your money. That's what it means. And Circa Sports keeps as little money as possible on large market bets, especially compared to other books. They have high app limits. They're transparent. They do limit players based on their winnings, and they encourage bettors to download and explore all sports betting apps available so you can compare the lines for yourself. You do that, you're going to see Circa has the best lines, and all aspects of their app are being run by the same team that runs the main Circa Sportsbook at Circa Resort and Casino in Las Vegas, which is an outstanding place to go visit if you happen to be there. Download the Circa Sports app. Download the Circa Sports Illinois app if you're back here in Illinois. And you do that by going to circasports.com/Illinois-app. That's circasports.com/Illinois-app to sign up today. Also be on the lookout for Circa events, watch parties, and tailgates. They are with us for all Friday 120 clubs at Wrigley Field. And if you or someone you know may have a problem with gambling, call 1-800-GAMBLER. That's 1-800-426-2537. Text GAMB to 833-234 or visit areyourreallywinning.com.
Shout out to our friends at FOCO. Get fitted out in the best in sports gear, hoodies, shoes, signs, bobbleheads, everything you need going to a hoops game or basketball or hockey rather coming around or football, whatever it is. They've got jackets. They got beachwear. They got the overalls that are popular nowadays. Nick, you look good in a pair of overalls. You could pull that off. Something for fans for almost every occasion. Check out FOCO, FOCO.com, or click the link in the description below. For all non-presale items, use that promo code CHGO10, and you get yourself 10% off. Thank you to our friends at FOCO.
I'm so excited for this.
For those of you in the audio space, Hoge just showed us a Shady Rays box. Like that.
There you go, Carm.
Yeah, don't mock me.
I am.
I've heard from people that appreciate when I do that. So they probably appreciate that you just did that. Yes, I have my Shady Rays box. And I will also acknowledge that for people listening to the podcast, this isn't going to translate very well because you can't see me right now. But for those of you that would like to, go to our YouTube channel, check them out for yourself. Ooh, these are the ones that might be controversial. These are the ones I'm interested to see what they look like.
Oh boy.
These aren't the mystery box. I actually picked these ones out, and I don't remember exactly which ones they were called, but sorry,
I got booted.
A little complicated to open.
I got booted.
This is a fascinating box. I still hear you,
like
Nick.
that. Thank God, I'm still here in the
sticker.
spaces
Not
of
break open. Oh, I see what we did.
StreamYard.
Okay. All right. What do we think here?
Oh, that's a good pair. Yeah.
Upper level.
Yep.
Upper
Hollywood
level.
Hoge.
They look pretty good. These are kind of
Hoge.
Hollywood. I like these. I might wear these for the rest of the show. Fantastic.
No, that's a perfect pair.
You look like a cool FBI agent right there. That is a professional. Like that. Seriously, if that dude walked up on you, you know straight away you're going right to prison.
Well, I'm just the FBI agent here to destroy all your takes.
Damn.
That's what I'm doing. All right, these ones I think were the captains. I think these are gonna go on the old boat situation. I didn't want to. So Nick, I like Knicks, but I just don't think they're for me. if he's still got those in front of him. I just don't think they work for me, but I do like the wraparound idea for when you're, out there in the sun. And so I'm going with these ones for the more less professional parts of my life.
They exist. And I apologize, they don't have mine in front of me. I feel a massive loaf on my end here. But I was on their website yesterday. There are some unbelievable options for you. They really it
took me a while to narrow this down.
Yeah,
and that's why. Here comes the mystery. Here comes the mystery pair. These were the ones that for $18 they'll throw in a mystery pair for you. So it's discounted.
What a drum.
Let that sink in. This pair was $18.
The mystery box.
I'm not entirely sure how I feel about this one, to be honest. Be completely transparent, but we'll see.
Oh yeah,
I like them. That's what I want.
Aviator.
You want these ones? Maybe I'll gift them to you.
I'll pay you that 18 for those, buddy. I'll even give you 25.
Everyone can see what's on my computer screens here.
Yeah,
it's so reflective. Quick, double check what's on here. All right, we're good. Yeah, I like it.
It reminds me of a video I saw where there was a professor. He was giving a lecture, but all of his tabs at the top were like OnlyFans tabs, and he immediately shut down everything. Like, the video just cuts off. Like, that was not happening with Hoge. Hoge is a professional. He's here doing the podcast. Let's go.
Yeah, you gotta get all those.
No, I just have some emails that.
Lord knows
coincidentally, my emails right now are just Shady Ray's emails. All right. Bragg saying Officer Hoge, license and registration. Yeah, I would have arrested you yesterday, Greg, for using your cell phone while driving.
Yeah, Bragg.
Bad job.
Stay safe. Crystal, by the way,
wants me to keep those ones.
And we officially, CHGO Bears might become at least side action dating piece. What did we get earlier on the show? Somebody was talking about Crystal's beauty. That was amazing. Crystal, you are gorgeous. $2 chat from D-Man Shy Super Chat just for you. That's our first dating maneuver ever in Super Chat history. I don't know if it's dating, but that's but it sounds like
I appreciate it. Again,
you can use this platform for anything.
Yeah, I mean, I respect it. I think that's more of a couples coverage segment, but maybe you guys can head out to couples coverage and become a couple.
D-Man Shy getting thirsty right on the pot. I like
it. Shoot a shot. Shooting a shot. Let's go.
Why not? Why not? You know who else is shooting their shot right now at running back? Eberflus Jones Jr. We're going to see him play running back on Saturday. Matt Eberflus confirming. I could almost guarantee you it will not be while Caleb Williams is in the game, because if there's one downside to this whole deal, it would be that I think Eberflus can pass protect, just knowing kind of how he plays and how he's big enough, but I don't know if you're going to trust him to do it with your franchise quarterback back there. So, but we are going to see it at some point in the game. Eberflus Jones moving exclusively to running back just for this week for right now. And now we will get to see what it looks like in the game. I'm excited, Nick.
Yeah, no, I think it's going to be a good opportunity for Eberflus Jones Jr. to, again, show what he can do when he gets the ball in his hands. Because, again, it takes a little bit more for him when he's a receiver. He has to get open and then the throw. No, here's a clear handoff. Go downhill, read your block, one cut, and then use your speed, which he does have. He does have that speed, and we can get an opportunity to see Eberflus Jones Jr. going downhill. And again, he does have to play with lower pad level. Maybe that's something that he had to adjust to now that he's had a couple practices at the running back spot. But it should be fun to see a guy like that, a former third-round draft pick. But I'm going to keep my expectations low for this Buffalo Bills game.
To what you just underlined, Hoge, I'm going to make a large wager if I could. Maybe I'll have to hit up Circa. I don't think Eberflus is going to get his running attempts while Caleb is in the game. I'm going to guess that comes when Tyson Bagent's the quarterback. I think they're going to protect their QB because if they do want to run some play action, which maybe will be dumbed down to the point they don't even do that, but I don't think they want Eberflus back there protecting Caleb at this point in Eberflus's young running back career. That makes a whole lot of nonsense. That would be that would not be likely. But I'm excited to see him, man. I think I'm coming around on it. The dude's average 9 yards a carry. Looking for a spot for him. That running back room is awful crowded. DeAndre Swift's look amazing, especially when he's in open space. But let's give Eberflus a shot at it.
Yeah, I'm just interested to see what it looks like. I mean, that's what's cool about the preseason. If you're looking for reasons to tune in third, fourth quarter, I think this is one of those things. Now, one guy you're not going to see play is Nate Davis. Nate Davis, who's
Yeah.
I don't know when you're going to see him play, but he's officially week to week. Guys, what do you think about what Matt Eberflus had to say today? As that he gave some clarification to that whole situation and admitted there's been a setback.
I appreciate the transparency.
Yeah.
He felt something, and it's week to week. So now we know that. I don't know. And it was also interesting. Tevin was asked about Nate. He's like, "Yeah, I'm not going to talk about Nate. I don't talk about other players." So, and then he said nice things about him, but it seems just like an awkward spot for everyone.
Yeah, it's like a touchy subject. And look, I'll tell you this. I was kind of just watching Nate Davis off to the side and what they do. They have the battle ropes out there. And he was there next to Andrew Billings, who's like, Kyler Gordon was today. And Kyler's going after it. Again, DB, way different body types. But just Nate, there's just not a lot of effort in the battle ropes. The battle ropes are tough. I can tell you that. But like, just come on, wave those and get some work in. But I don't know. It's just again, what he said today, soft tissue, setback. It's not too surprising, right?
That was my favorite moment with Nick at practice yesterday. He was loafing Nate Davis on his rope work.
Dude, those destroy your shoulders if you do them right. But I haven't seen that happen with Nate Davis yet.
Interesting observation. That's why we're watching every little piece of whatever that's happening as the Bears biking team continues to grow.
Did you notice the Peloton crew this morning?
Oh, yeah. It's a big I mean, I'm telling you, I don't know if they're going to win the Super Bowl, but they might win the Tour de France. I mean,
very true.
It was like they were going, man.
In all seriousness, we're having fun with that, but I appreciate the fact that I'm being serious now that they make those guys work when they're not practicing. And I respect the hell out of that. Like, it looks a little funny when there's like 12 different guys biking during practice, but you know what? They're working. They're not just standing there on the sidelines. Yeah. And they seem to have, and Flus actually talked about that today, giving the strength and conditioning staff credit for, look, you ain't going to practice. We're going to, whatever it is you can do during practice, you're going to do it because you're not just going to be standing there and sitting this thing out completely. So I respect the hell out of that right now for how the Bears are handling that. Can we put Braggs' question back up there with Velus real quick with, can he make this team as a running back? He said, can Velus make this roster as running back? How many do the Bears intend on keeping for? So this is now 50% of the show that doesn't seem to understand this. Nick, please help me out. I feel like I'm just yelling into a vacuum on this one. Velus is making the team as the kick returner. They are just trying to make him more valuable by being able to do multiple things. But it's not a numbers game at running back. It's not a numbers game at wide receiver. It is him being the best kick returner. And if we have to keep him as that, how do we build the best package for him potentially to be in this offense? And chances are it's going to be a hybrid role. He is with the running backs this week, so he can learn how to play running back so that he can sometimes be a running back and sometimes be a wide receiver, but most of all, be the kick returner.
I mean, I can't explain that any better than you did, Adam, there, but don't pigeonhole him into one spot. Because again, he will be your kick returner, but he can also fill in, backup wide receiver. If you need him in a pinch to play running back because someone goes down, at least he's getting the reps in week 2 of the preseason. So I would look at it that way. He's a versatile potential playmaker for this offense, but he is the kick returner right now. Oh, Carm, shades.
I finally got my Shady Rays on. I feel so much better just to talk about Velus. Hey, Hoge. Hey, Nick, let me ask you this. Would you trade Velus Jones Jr. for a 5th-round pick?
No.
Maybe.
You said no, Hoge?
Not unless I felt really good about another kick returner on this team.
What's wrong with DeAndre Carter?
I think he's more of a punt returner. I think Velas's size and his strengths are specifically good for this rule that they've. Because
I would want to see it with this rule.
I don't think you're going to see many wide open holes. I think you're going to see some smaller holes that you need to have some strength in your lower half to be able to get through.
4th round pick. What would you trade him for? What draft pick? If somebody called you up, hey, I really want Velas. What's it going to take? What would you? What number? What round?
Travis Kelce.
Yep, all of them. All of them. Travis Kelce.
He's untradeable. He's Velas Jones.
No, sure. I mean, yeah. At some point, obviously, if you get the third round pick,
nice
I mean,
fourth.
sure.
Yeah.
But this is a dumb conversation because I don't think anybody's doing that.
Well, my point is that there's certain guys that I just look at that I'm getting less and less likely that they're going to make it. And if I could get draft value for them, I would be interested in doing that if I was Ryan Poles, and Velas would be one of those guys. Tyler Scott would be another one of those guys.
Look, I get it. I'm probably in the minority at this point among the Bears Nation on Velas Jones. There are a lot of people that just want to see him gone.
I don't even want to see him gone.
I think that's not giving him enough credit for what he's been as a kick returner when it didn't matter, and now there's a play where it probably will matter. I'd also like to apologize to Braggs. I didn't mean to be so harsh on him. I really took my anger out on him because I had to explain this to Carm earlier in the week, and now I had to explain it again. And it was just, I got fired up. So I apologize, Greg.
Is Greg upset? And I don't know if I needed that explained to me, but maybe I did.
Yes, you did.
Okay. Well, let me explain something back. I'm not dying for Velas to be out here. I'm just saying, like, I would try to look at who's on this roster and what assets I could get back to build this team up. And if somebody really wanted Velas, I'd be willing to give him away. 5th round might be a little bit low, but if somebody told me I could have a 4th rounder for Velas, go ahead. You can have him.
Real quickly, you guys, what did you guys make of Eberflus's comment when he was asked if Rome Odunze would get the first opportunity to be the punt returner against the Bills? He said, we'll talk about that. We've seen Rome Odunze back there. He was the first guy in the live team punt return reps. He's obviously been doing this since like OTAs back there, but obviously have DeAndre Carter there. But I don't know. At this point, I'm not ruling out Rome Odunze punt returning, but it is interesting to see how they're kind of approaching this for this preseason game on Saturday.
Yeah, and apparently I haven't seen this yet, but apparently Flus did an interview with Kay Adams after he talked to us and kind of talked him up as a good punt return option. So I haven't seen that yet. My only interaction with Kay Adams today was when she walked in the meeting room and saw my Carmel shirt and yelled at me about Whitney Young, and I was just like, they're not even rivals. I don't know why I'm getting yelled at right now. But Zero Demon, $10 super chat. Did you see Flus's interview with Kay Adams? Flus really seems to like the idea of Rome returning punts. I think you're going to see it here in the preseason, and I think they're going to give it a chance. And it might be a luxury that you have his rookie year that maybe you don't do forever, but because you do have the wide receiver depth you have right now, that you do have Keenan Allen and you do have DJ Moore. I'm not saying I love it, but I like trying it. Also, his experience doing it is a little bit overstated. He mostly has done it in practice. He's only had very few live game reps. I think the results were pretty good, though. So you give it a chance. I wouldn't be shocked, though, if you see one of those chances come Saturday in Buffalo.
The great Greg Braggs Jr., who I've learned so much from, he was talking about this and saying, why would you put one of your young stars in harm's way as a punt returner? It makes me nervous. I agree. You got guys back there that can do it. Why would you put them in that spot? I don't love the idea.
But you can't say that and then I'm sorry, Nick. You can't have it both ways. You can't be like, we can't have good players back returning, but also we want Velas Jones Jr., who's clearly the best returner on the team, out of here because he doesn't do anything else. Like that's hypocritical.
I look, Valens ain't Gale Sayers or Devin Hester back there. I'm totally fine with DeAndre Carter returning kicks. I don't think there's what is he 93% of Valens. I think you'd do fine. I'm just trying. Look, I'm trying to see your future, be your future. I don't think Valens is going to be here long term. So what can you get for him at some
So-
point?
I was just looking into like DJ Moore in his rookie season. I don't know, comparing receivers, but like obviously a former first round pick. He had 6 punt returns in his rookie season with Carolina. And looking back to when he was at Maryland, he only had 15 in that final year, 15 career snaps at Maryland. I don't know, like Odunze obviously hasn't had much experience at the collegiate level, but he's getting a lot more reps in these practices. You do have 2 1A, 1B type of guys at the wide receiver position. It's another chance to get a playmaker, the football in his hands. And he looks comfortable back there. I mean, yes, has he dropped a few and, rebounded? Of course. But I don't know. To me, it's intriguing, but I don't think it's going to be a long-term thing. Rome Odunze is your punt returner. But when he's in the open field, like he is shifty. Like he's big, but he can move. Like it is enticing to me to watch that play and see what he can do when he gets the ball in the open field.
Look, among returners who had at least 16 kick returns last year, Velus Jones Jr. led the league in average.
Velus God. That's
Just saying.
He's a good kick returner. I'm not disputing it in any way, shape, or form. I'm just.
Now, would I say he's better than Keyshawn Nixon in Green Bay? No. Nixon had 30 compared to Velus' 16. They were scoring a lot more, or I guess more opportunities there. But and Nixon's average was still 26.1. It's just a touch below Velus. But all right. By the way, hippie nerd, I wish Ian Wheeler hadn't gotten hurt. I thought he would be a possible return guy. Did I see Wheeler out there today practicing? I think I did.
Yep.
You did. He's been back, and
I think I saw him back there returning kicks with the scout team.
Kicks, yeah, returning. Yep.
Yeah.
I like Ian Wheeler. He ain't fast enough, is from what I can tell.
Ian Wheeler's not fast enough. He got wheels.
Scout Carm coming out real quickly. What did David Overstreet and John Hoke have to say about Jalen Johnson, Carm?
So it was just interesting because we got to talk to the defensive assistants today, and I just was asking people what makes Jalen Johnson so good. And Hoke told me like he studies. He really pays attention. And then Overstreet went into greater detail on it, how the dude literally is always on his iPad. And he's got like, if they're in a room and he's sitting right next to him and Flus is going to be coming in 5 minutes, he is on that iPad going through it, and he's able to point out, see, when his foot is like this, then I know that he's going to do one of these 2 things. So I'm keyed in on that. So Jalen, we see it at the podium, the way he answers our questions. Like he really thinks about it and tries to give you a detailed answer. And apparently one of his edges is the way that he studies. And I just thought that was super interesting, that like Jalen is just this dude who not only is he, gifted athletically, which they said, but he's also just like a football bookworm. So I shout out to Jalen and his work ethic. And I mean, apparently that dude is just buried in his iPad, digesting what dudes are doing and what they look like and trying to get as big of an edge as possible. And it's one of the reasons why Jalen ended up getting paid and getting the money, because he's putting in that time, not just on the field, but off the field as well.
Love it. Yeah, I mean, we keep saying that's been one of our observations of camp. It's just how good Jalen Johnson looks. He's a really good player. Really good player. I mean, we already knew that, but it's just he gets paid. He's still bringing it every day. Like he looks like an elite player out there. All right.
Yeah. One other tidbit, I'm sorry, that we got into today was the center situation with Tevin. And hey man, does it matter who you're playing to your right? Does that matter? Yeah, it does. I building that chemistry and the timing of the center stuff. Who else Hoge was talking about that too? In addition to Tevin, we were talking about that on our walk that Nick was trailing on today.
Oh,
somebody else
listening to me. No, Kerry Joseph, the quarterback's coach yesterday. I was asking him kind of the same question. With having the 2 different centers and they snap different. Which, if you've missed this conversation before, we've determined that the lefty righty thing doesn't really matter. Coleman Shelton uses his left hand. Ryan Bates uses his right hand. The bigger difference is that Coleman Shelton has more of a spiral snap, where Bates holds the ball on top, and it's more of like kind of a knuckleball snap is probably what you would call it. So the timing of the ball getting back there to Caleb is different. And I asked Kerry Joseph yesterday how much that mattered. And he's like, yeah, it matters. It's the timing of everything and all that. It does make a difference. Not that one's better than the other. It's just that you have to know who's in there, and you have to get used to both so that you can be ready for it when it's happening. So that is something to continue to watch there. I think right now with the Nate Davis situation, we are trending though towards Coleman Shelton at center, Ryan Bates at right guard. Proposition.
It seems like the logical one. I mean, asking Tevin though too, like on the whole center, who's playing it, Shelton or Bates? Like, is there a difference between the two from his perspective as a left guard? And he's like, I'd say they're both really the same. They're both amazing players. So hyped up both of his guys. They're both smart, can switch in and out, know their reads and things like that. So can identify things. So it's interesting hearing the different perspectives. Like, does it matter? Does it not matter? Depending on the position, I guess would have a bigger impact on, who's actually playing the center position.
Well, Nick, you can, relate to this because you were a holder in high school.
Yes, that's a very nerve-wracking job. I hated it. But we didn't score a lot, so I didn't go out there very often. But when I did, God, my heart was beating. But I never messed up, so we're good.
Well, speaking of snappers and holding and all that, I finally asked where the heck Patrick Scales has been all week. I wanted to do this Sunday, but I out of respect for the limited amount of questions I get asked, in a press conference, I held back. Maybe he'll be back on Tuesday. And I wasn't back on Tuesday. I guess Sunday, Flus didn't talk. So Tuesday was my one opportunity. Regardless, got to the point where, as much as Chris Emma was trying to box me out, the Patrick Scales question got asked and answered. He has a back injury, and that's why he hasn't been there all week. So, which we talked about it a little bit earlier on the show, but it is officially a back injury.
Did you ask that question for you and Bears fans, or did you ask it specifically for Gary Ross?
No, I was gonna, like I just said, I was gonna ask it earlier in the week. But yes, Gary did ask me yesterday if I could ask that question.
How much percentage, you're asking that question today, do you want to give credit to Gary for getting it done today?
0.
Come on, man. The dude's been texting me, where the hell's Patrick Scales? His mother doesn't care about him as much as Gary cares about Patrick Scales. And you did it, and you got it in there. I was asked today, will you ask Richard Hightower about Scales? I'm like, no, I'm not going to. Flus is talking to me. Well, ask Flus. I'm like, if I get a question to Flus, it ain't going to be about that. But you did it, Hoge.
Yeah, it got done. All right, I got a quick story, and then we can get to some super chats and get out of here. But this is going to go a little bit in the way back machine to an interview we did spring of last year in 2023. So today, quick shout out to Emily Rooney from the Bears community engagement team. They have a lot of cool groups that come out that the Bears either support or just like to give bring some light to some of the community aspects out there. They do a great job. So they told me that there's somebody that wanted to meet me today to tell me a story about an interview we did last year. And so shout out to Stephen McElrath, who said, just call me Mac. There he is right there if you're watching on YouTube. Mac works with a program called Exigent, which is a collaborative work of the Chicago Public Schools math teachers on Chicago's West Side. And the goal of Exigent is to send those same students and teachers back to their local schools, equipped and motivated to seed, sprout, and grow advanced mathematics programs at their respective schools. So what does this have to do with our show? Well, last year when we had Kari Blasingame on, CHGO Bears, he went to Vanderbilt. and he made a Mac reminded me of this whole thing. I didn't necessarily remember it off the top of my head, but then once he rejogged my memory, I'm like, oh yeah, I remember that. So Kari was on our show, and we were talking about his Vanderbilt education, and he eventually was like, yeah, the calculus stuff was a little bit too much, and I think I responded very harshly, like, F calculus. Because it's I still have PTSD from it. So anyway, Mac was a new listener to our show at that point, but heard that conversation, and doing the work that he does was like, I gotta reach out to Kari to see if he would want to get involved in what we're doing. And Kari got back to him, and Kari Blasingame has been working with this program, trying to make advanced math more accessible to everybody, who needs it. And they fundraise all year long. They offer merit-based stipends to all of their participating scholars. Sounds like a great program. And Kari Blasingame today at practice 2 met with I'm assuming these are some of the students that have benefited from the program. So just thought that was a cool story from one of our listeners. And, it feels good here at CHGO to know that an interview we did ended up, giving back to the community at the same time.
I mean, not only is everybody benefiting from my football brilliance on a daily basis, but we're giving back to the math community, damn it.
Everybody.
Yeah.
Everybody. I
am shocked, quite frankly, that we didn't see Braggs in that photo as one of the math students.
By the way,
Jenny, can you figure out how much I need to tip? Go ahead. Sorry, that was rude.
For more information, go to cbs.networkforgood.com. You can never take the Carm out of his Carminess.
Never can. Real quickly, I ran into somebody who watches CHGO. Anthony, appreciate you, man. He came up to me right as I got through the exit or through the security line. He's like, yo, CHGO, let's go. Oh, what do you got there, Hope?
They gave me a shirt too. Exigent.
Oh, nice.
West Side Shy.
I like the colors on that.
Yeah. Like Chicago sky colors. Sorry. I didn't mean to interrupt your shout out.
No, all good. All good.
By the way, yeah. Mac also told me his favorite segment of the show is best and worst, because he likes that we just quickly get into what the good and the bad from practice was. However, he challenged us because, worst kind of has a negative connotation. So he said one of the things they do with their students is they ask these questions instead of what was the best and what was the worst. What did you notice, and what do you wonder?
Ooh.
Yeah.
Best and needs improvement we could do.
So, in other words, we could have said we are noticing that the defense is kicking the offense's butt, but we wonder if that experience will end up boding well for the regular season because the Bears defense is so good. Aha.
Mm-hmm. You got to spin it in a positive way.
Yeah.
It's productive.
In all seriousness, the other way we could do that segment is winners and losers every day. And I don't like to call people losers. So that's why we do best and worst. Little transparency on that whole segment. We just, here's the good and the bad from practice.
Well, on the shout outs and the good and the bad and the best and the worst, I would like to shout out my guy Alan, running security at the bleachers today.
That's right.
I walked in there, wanted to sit down with all my media friends, and the guy looked at me cross-eyed like, this is a media section. I'm like, I am aware. And he's like, I'm like, I am in the media. He's like, you are? And I'm like, yeah. He's like, do you have a pass? I'm like, and then I looked at Nick, like, tell this guy
I said something
that I'm in. You didn't say much. I had to go into the wallet, bust out the thing, and I'm like, all right, Alan, You're doing a good job. I don't have my credential out. You don't know Carm. So then I started telling him about the CHGO Bears podcast. He's like, the CHGO Bears podcast. So hopefully Alan is a subscriber now. We're working on you. Then the other security guy, John, on the next bleacher is like, Carm, what's up? I love you. I'm like, tell that to Alan. Tell Alan.
But Carm, we also saw you got stopped when you crossed the rope to get on the other side as you were leaving. You also had to show your ID again, didn't you?
No, but so that dude was staring at me, and I was nervous because Alan put me into PTSD that nobody knows me, and so I was going to show him, and he's like, I know who you are. I know who you are. I love the show. That was actually a nice moment.
But then the dad and me comes out. Why is your pass in your wallet and not around your neck like a normal media member?
Okay, Hoge, because Hoge. I busted out my pass. My pass, if you can see,
little,
is broken. Okay. There is a broken situation here. So if I wear it, it's gonna fall. So I need a new pass, and I don't want to bother.
Stop showing your credential on the show. We've been over that 1,000 times.
Now we can't show the credential. Now someone's gonna Photoshop my Hoge rules are
as
endless.
I told Alan. I told this to Alan. I told Alan, you're doing your job better than Carm does his.
That was funny.
Shout out to Alan, who was doing a great job. But Alan, you will know Carm. You will. I've been doing this for 25 years.
Do you have a children's pencil that isn't sharpened in your hand?
Yes, I do.
So fitting. It's so fitting.
I'm like, what is he pointing at me right now?
I just picked it up because you were doing your whole math thing. So I
wanted
wanted to get a pencil out.
What's the pencil?
Yeah, what kind of cartoon?
It says One Piece.
Oh, One Piece anime.
Yeah. There you go. God,
Luffy.
Nick, you are a freaking nerd. That's amazing.
Oh.
One Piece.
I don't know what that is.
It's a good anime.
Yeah, there you go. I got another one. I got two more for you, Nick. What's this one? You got this one?
What does it say? You are a big dill?
You're a big dill. You're a big dill. It's a pickle pencil. That's right.
And then this
one, I don't know.
Got some colors on it.
Yeah, it must be a rainbow situation.
Colors.
It looks like wrapping paper.
One of my favorite things back in the day was to sharpen the pencil and those, and I loved sharpening pencils, even the mechanical one. Fired up to get like a really good tip on there. It's time to go, isn't it?
Yeah, it is.
Yeah. We got Tim Daniels out of nowhere with the One Piece is real, so you never know who you're gonna hit.
Yeah, look, people, I'm a man of culture because I know One Piece. I tweeted out actually that so Caleb was getting a snap and his hands were like this. And he was doing a Kamehameha, and I'm like, how many people will actually know this reference?
Not the beekeeper.
Not the beekeeper. And then I'm like, well, most of my guys at CHGO Bears might not know that reference, but that's okay. I love you guys.
There he is. The beekeeper.
There we go. That's great.
That is so horrifying.
Hey man, you know who else is a beekeeper? Flus.
Oh, that's right.
I think that the old Flus has transferred onto you. Next gen Flus is here to stay, and you have absorbed all of the old Flus.
Is that good? You gotta change that, Mark. You gotta change that.
I meant to take the damn beekeeper hat off when we came in from from outside.
You're inside doing an interview wearing.
Yeah. And then I did it again today because I was getting up to leave because Tevin was so late, and so I got my bag and I was walking back through, and then Tevin comes in, so I sit back down. And then I'm like, I've got questions for Tevin. So I started the first two questions for him. And then I realized I had the stupid ass hat on. And I was like, I'll take this off. It was
stupid ass hat.
It was something. I'm sorry, Tevin. I'm not me to go beekeeper look for you. Looking at me cross-eyed. Okay. My guy.
Bragg's in the stands, $2 super chat, calling him Crocodile Dumb D. That needs to be screenshotted right there.
That's amazing.
With the super on it. That's fantastic. All right, let's get through the rest of these supers and save everyone's Thursday. Craig Leach, $20, over 300 watching, 24 likes. Smash that like button, peeps. Let's go CHGO. Yeah, and I think that number got way over 300 people watching too. So they're right. Hit the like button. It's another great photo of Carm there on that avatar. Hit the like button just for the avatars. Zero Demon, $10. Santos doesn't boom. He went 7 on 8 of kicks over 50 yards last year. Carm, back to the bench with you.
They crawl over the crossbar, dude. There, he doesn't boom them. Look where his kicks go over, and look where like Harrison Butker's go over. It's a big difference, which is totally cool. He makes them. I'm just saying, less room for error. Thank you.
Yeah, he's not Justin Tucker. He's still gotten really good over with the kicks over 50. He's very accurate on them. GAC Fave, $5. Not sure if this has ever been asked, but based on the practice you've been to, how many TDs to interceptions have Caleb thrown, regardless of who is to blame?
Hard to judge. I mean, we're talking 7-on-7, team 2, like,
yeah,
I don't know.
It's a little, yeah, it's tough to judge that in practice because like a lot of the work they're doing in the middle of the field, you're going to have more interceptions than you're going to have touchdowns, and then you get in the low red area days. So I don't know when you're all saying that's probably somewhere about equal, but that doesn't mean that it's going to be the same ratio in the games because it just depends on the amount of work you're putting in each spot of the field.
Sure.
Jeff, $20, just joining. So sorry if someone has already said this, but Caleb and the offense will be fine. Camp is where he evolves, and it takes failures to grow. That sounds like Mercedes Lewis gave us that super chat because that's almost exactly what he said today. So yeah, appreciate the super chat there, Jeff. Good stuff. And Arizona Tactical, $199. Who wins, Bears or Bills?
Bears going undefeated in the preseason. Bears. Let's go.
Well, Carm's guy Tyson Bagent better outplay
Mitch.
Yeah, no doubt that's going to happen. Look, 21-0, and then throw 3 more in, 24-0, Bears.
Yeah, I'm not picking. I'm sorry. I appreciate the super, but I'm not picking a preseason game. Crystal with a $50 super chat in response to D-Man.
Oh, man.
Earlier in the show, she says, I'm flattered. Someone asked me for my @ if you are on X or Instagram, you will have to find me. LOL.
Ooh.
Since we turned this into CHGO Dadium, I am actually crushing on someone from the media.
Ooh.
With a shush and a peek emoji in there. But anywho, great coverage, guys. Love you guys and bear down.
Ooh, now the plot thickens.
CHGO dating. We just invented this right here.
It's got to be Braggs.
I got some other ideas. I'm going to pay more attention to Crystal Simone when she's in the stands out at training camp to see where those eyes are wandering to.
You're so creepy.
That's weird. The field's gonna be over here. Carv is like looking left into the stands.
Give me those
How's
binoculars.
that different than any other day, Nick?
Sure. I'll give you the binoculars.
It's not Braggs. We knew it wasn't Braggs.
I gave you my binoculars, Carm. I got you.
Braggs, though, he's got
Crystal's
those eyes.
putting herself out there. Again,
There you go, Crystal.
Yeah, so the plot thickens. That's good stuff. All right. I'm leaving you guys all right now.
I'm going too.
Is that okay? This has been a good Sunnyside Summer Thursday, though. Use that code HICHGO. Hey, go find the 85 with Cole Kmet and subscribe right now. We got over 1,000 subscribers in day one alone. This is a new YouTube channel for our new show with Cole Kmet launching next week. So go over there, hit subscribe. We'll drop the link again here in the comments on this show. But it is the 85 with Cole Kmet, brand new YouTube channel. Also find the podcast on Spotify, Apple, wherever you listen to your podcast, you can find it there too. Hit subscribe now so you don't miss it when the first episode drops next week. A lot of excitement about this with the buzz officially being announced yesterday, and everybody should go get subscribed right now so you're ready to go. Braggs dropping a $2 super chat saying it's Braggs.
That's funny.
Yeah. All right. We are out of here. And we are off tomorrow. Correct? I'm losing track of days. Right?
We're off tomorrow.
Yep.
Pre and post on
tomorrow.
Saturday. Hoge is off. We can, I think, announce that. Herb Howard will be in studio with myself and Gregory. Nick will be covering in Buffalo. We got you. We will be dominating. And then Saturday's actually my last show for a week because I will be going to family camp and missing everybody in my own ways. So you guys will have to tackle the Bengals without me, which I'm emotional about, but yeah.
Big week of practice. Bengals coming to town. Carm's just going to miss it. Yes, I am missing. I am gone Saturday for a family wedding. One of my close cousins getting married. So I will miss the game on Saturday. These guys will have you covered. Nick is headed to Buffalo for the game. It'll be Carm, Braggs, our guy Herb Howard. They will definitely have it all set and ready to go. 11 a.m. pregame, noon kickoff, and postgame right after the game on Saturday. Our guy Stephen Nicholas producing as always. Looking forward to that. You guys have a great weekend. Nick, enjoy Buffalo, and I will see everybody after the weekend, I guess. Be fun. Talk to you then.
We all silly like the mayor.